My name is Lacey. I'm 19 years old. The date is March 5th, 2019, and we are on the second floor of the Commons Building at the Study Abroad Information Desk.
My name is Tori. I'm 19 years old. Today is March 5th, 2019. We're in the Commons at the Study Abroad Information Desk.
So you've traveled to the country, Tangier, Morocco, for study abroad.
Yes.
What made you want to study abroad, and did you ever have any hesitation on going?
In high school, I took a trip to Europe with my senior class, and I caught the travel bug. I didn't have any hesitation on going because I'm very independent and I love going abroad.
Were you nervous about the culture change, language barrier? How did you cope with this situation?
I was a little nervous with the culture change because it is a Muslim country and I wasn't too familiar with their customs. The language barrier was hard because they spoke Arabic, but we actually got to take an Arabic class while we were there, which helped me get around a lot.
Once you were emerged with the new culture, how did you feel? Did you feel accepted or scared?
Once I was emerged, I felt like I had lived there my whole life. People began to know me around the city, and I felt like I was one of the locals and very accepted, even though I was so different.
What was the major difference between the culture here in the United States versus Morocco? What was the hardest adjustment you had to make?
The biggest difference in the culture was their religion. We are a very Christian or liberal country, and they're a very Muslim country, which plays a huge role in the way that they interact with each other and all of their customs in their country. The biggest adjustment I had to make was clothing. It's a very different view over there as far as wearing shorts or showing too much skin, and so we had to dress a little bit more conservative even though it was 100 degrees every day. But that was a pretty quick adjustment and I got used to it.
What was your favorite part about studying abroad and why?
My favorite part about studying abroad was a project I had to do for my English class where I went to a kindergarten for special needs children and I interviewed them. I got to spend a couple days with them and hang out with them, get to know some kids, and raise awareness about autism and Down syndrome.
What advice would you give another student who wants to study abroad?
I would tell them to be fearless, try everything, and don't be afraid of new food.
How do you feel that this journey has helped you in your future career path and major?
So I am a med-bio pre-med major and I want to be a surgeon. We all had to do some community service and volunteering while we were there, and I chose to volunteer in a hospital. I actually got to spend 4 hours every Tuesday in the surgical block, and I would go from room to room watching surgeries. Their laws are a little bit more lenient there, so we could sort of go and see whatever we wanted, and it really opened up my eyes to what the medical career could be for me.
What is something that you've learned about yourself on this journey?
I've learned that the U.S. is not the center of the world, and the way that we do things aren't normal to everybody else. And so everywhere you go, you have to adjust to a new normal, and I've learned that I'm really good at doing that.
How else did you get involved with the community while studying abroad?
I volunteered at a medical caravan, which was basically a few medical vans with doctors, nurses, dentists, etc. came to Tangier, the city that we lived in, and we volunteered to help give people free health care who hadn't maybe received any health care in a while, and I got to meet a lot of people who were grateful for anything they could get there.
What was the most challenging situation about studying abroad, and how did you deal with this?
So in Arab culture, males are seen as more dominant, and they are a little sexist, I guess we would call them. So it was very different for me to walk down the street and be catcalled, or to see women, older women mostly, who weren't allowed to show their hair, or maybe were a little bit more restricted on when they were allowed to go out or where they're allowed to go. And that's very hard for me because I'm a feminist and I believe in equal rights, and I believe that women should have the voice that they're born with, and I had to accept that this is their culture and that there's nothing that I can do about it, and I don't have to be pushed down in any way by it. I just had to live among it.
What other countries did you travel to besides being in Tangier, Morocco?
So we traveled to Spain and we visited the campus for the study abroad kids in Sevilla, and then during Thanksgiving break I visited London and Porto, Portugal.
Which was your favorite?
Portugal was my favorite. We were on the ocean and it was a little bit warmer than Morocco at that point because it was November, and believe it or not, you get used to the 100-degree weather, so when it gets 70, you're cold. And the food was amazing in Portugal.
Is there anything else that you would like to discuss with me about studying abroad? Thank you very much for taking the time to discuss your story about studying abroad with me. It was a privilege listening to your story.
Thank you.